Hey, Mike, remember when you said this at a panel about the Intellivision Amico? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
What's going to be the biggest piece of news in the next, say, by the end of 2020? Biggest piece of news in the game industry? Starting you.
I was actually serious when I started. I think Intellivision Amico is going to shock people. I mean it sincerely. I know Tommy's here. If you haven't played it yet, do you have it here? It's really fun. I mean, I got a private thing. It's really fun. I think people are way underestimating Tommy, and I think that is going to shock people, how good it is.
He said that. He said that. Let's discuss news. Skip it up and that up. All kidding aside, I actually like Michael Pachter. I don't agree with some of his takes or a lot of his takes, but he seems like a genuinely nice dude, and I do think he is passionate about the gaming industry. He's gotten flack throughout the years, but I've had a lot of wrong takes too. But anyway, Wedbush Securities Analyst, if I could say that 3 times fast, I would pay myself money, was just on the RDX podcast, and essentially he's saying that he thinks PlayStation, its days are numbered. Xbox, with Xbox Game Pass, with Microsoft acquiring Bethesda and soon to be acquiring Activision Blizzard, it's over. They already have the games as a service thing wrapped up. Sony's behind. It's time for them to pack up shop. Anyway, here is the clip from the podcast. I'll have a link to the full podcast below in the description. Take a look.
I think PlayStation's doomed, and I think that they're going to cease to exist as we know them in about 10 years.
What?
No, they can't compete. They have no chance of competing.
So you say PlayStation has no chance of competing with Xbox this generation?
Right. They've got a huge head start now. There's 17 million PlayStations as of December, and Microsoft hasn't released a number, but it's 8 or less.
12 as well.
But PlayStation is gonna get past, like, they're standing still, not in console sales, in Game Pass members. If Microsoft got 25 million Game Pass members without Activision, how many are they going to get with Activision?
So ultimately, you're saying that Game Pass it's just got so much right now going for it, and Sony are I think they're a couple years behind on a lot of this stuff.
Oh no, they're not a couple years behind. It's an insurmountable leap.
So essentially, what Michael Pachter is saying is because of the breadth of content Microsoft is going to have with Xbox Game Pass, especially after acquiring Activision Blizzard, having Bethesda and all the games that they have, that Sony can't compete. It definitely is going to be a challenge for Sony, but it's way too early to call that, Mike. It's way too early, especially with how wildly popular the PlayStation 5 is. And Sony, I understand it's not going to always be about consoles in the future, and eventually I'm going to be able to play Halo Infinite on my right ass cheek. I already have a beta out for it, and my ass cheek can play Halo Infinite in 4K HDR at 120 FPS. My ass cheek is incredible. But Sony could still catch up. And with the amount of momentum they have, they just released Horizon Forbidden West, which is doing fantastic, and Gran Turismo 7, which is selling well. But I have opinions on that game, and I'm having a video coming tomorrow with my editor discussing that. I have things to say. But nonetheless, Sony is doing well right now. Now, if it was like 4 to 7 years from now, Mike, let's say 5 to 7 years, actually. Okay. And Sony is still sticking to the playbook where they kind of sort of have a game service, but they're just depending on conventional consoles to keep them afloat. All right, Mike, you may have a good point, but right now, you're calling it way too early. You also said that you thought the Intellivision Amico was going to be successful. I'm going to try to get Mike on a podcast. I'm going to try to get him on a live stream or a podcast and discuss that and see what his take is on it now. I like Michael Pachter. I am just wholeheartedly disagreeing with him here. He's calling this way too early, just like he called the Amico way too early too. He's also made some other insane takes with like pricing and stuff in the past before. I've made plenty of bad takes too, Mike. Hopefully one day you'll come on the show and we'll discuss it. But this one, you're calling it too early, Chief. Let's see what happens in like 2025. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. I'm still waiting for my Amico order, Tommy. Got that pre-order on lock still. I want you to deliver it to my doorstep. Gaming racists. Yes, he did say that on my show. Tommy Tellerico did say that on my show. Jesus Christ. I'll never live that down.